In 2018, Jake Patterson, a 21-year-old, was en route to his job at a cheese factory in Wisconsin. It was only his third day at work. As he drove his Ford Taurus, he halted behind a school bus picking up middle school students. It was at this moment that he spotted a 13-year-old girl with blonde hair and green eyes, Jamie Close, for the first time. According to his detailed confession, as he sat in his car watching Jamie board the bus, he had a sudden realization. He decided right then and there that she was the girl he was going to abduct. A man with no criminal history, he began to devise a plan to abduct this girl. As revealed in his extensive confession, he invested a lot of effort into plotting this abduction. Let's discuss his plan. He procured his father's Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun, a commonly bought weapon, assuming it would be difficult to trace. He then purchased a balaclava, a full-head mask, from Walmart. He shaved his head and beard to avoid leaving any hair for forensic evidence at the crime scene. This was all highly premeditated. He also bought gloves and wiped them clean to prevent leaving fingerprints. He acquired steel-toed boots, dark jeans, and a dark jacket. He planned to use his car for the abduction, intending to keep Jamie in the trunk. He disabled the trunk release button inside his vehicle to prevent unauthorized access and even disconnected the dome light to enhance concealment while inside his Ford Taurus. He meticulously planned his actions for the abduction. On 2 prior attempts, Jake had tried and failed to abduct Jamie. During his successful attempt on October 15, 2018, he approached the Close family's home around midnight with his car lights off. Inside, Jamie was sleeping alongside her dog, Molly, who began barking upon hearing the car's arrival. Jamie, alarmed by the unfamiliar vehicle, alerted her parents. James, Jamie's father, went to the front door with a flashlight, while Denise and Jamie sought refuge in the bathroom, anticipating a potential home invasion. Sensing the danger, they barricaded the door with a dresser and hid in the tub, drawing the curtains for concealment. James, stationed at the front door, observed Jake Patterson calmly exiting his car and approaching the house. Initially, James entertained the possibility that it might be the police. However, when Jake began banging on the door, James, still unsure of the visitor's identity, demanded to see his badge. Tragically, at that moment, Jake raised his shotgun and fired through the door's window, fatally striking James. The sudden and devastating event unfolded swiftly, leaving James dead instantly. Meanwhile, Denise and Jamie, barricaded in the bathroom, were unaware of the tragic encounter taking place at the front door. After the fatal gunshot, Jamie immediately recognized the sound and knew that her father had been killed. Similarly, Denise, her mother, understood the gravity of the situation and promptly dialed 911 for help. The dispatcher's response, indicating no police presence in the area, further confirmed that the intruder was not law enforcement. Meanwhile, Jake, undeterred by the tragic outcome at the front door, attempted to force his way into the house. Failing to break through the door, he resorted to using his shotgun to shoot the doorknob, causing it to swing open. Stepping over James's body, Jake proceeded to search the house, finding every door open except one, the bathroom door, where Denise and Jamie sought refuge. After numerous attempts to force open the bathroom door, Jake resorts to smashing it in. Despite the dresser blocking the lower half, he manages to split the top half open after 10 to 15 blows. Inside the bathroom, he finds Denise embracing and shielding her daughter Jamie in the tub. Jake instructs Denise to use duct tape to cover Jamie's mouth and hands, but she refuses. Unfazed, Jake takes matters into his own hands, setting his shotgun aside momentarily to carry out the task himself. Once Jamie is out of the tub, he retrieves his shotgun, aims it at Denise, and fatally shoots her. He then grabs Jamie, who is petite and weighs around 100 pounds, drags her to his car, opens the trunk of his Taurus, places her inside, and drives away. The entire ordeal inside the house lasts only 4 minutes. In his confession, Jake recounted that as he drove away, about 20 seconds after leaving the house, he saw multiple police cars approaching. He recalled yielding to the police cruisers as they passed by. Jamie remembers hearing the sirens, which gradually faded as they disappeared into the distance. Jake then drove Jamie 70 miles to his house, where he held her captive for the next 3 months. Despite extensive efforts by investigators and the local community to find Jamie, there was little hope for her safe return. Unfortunately, in the majority of cases involving child abduction, the victims do not return home safely. Amidst the community's anguish over Jamie's disappearance, she was held captive just 70 miles away in Jake Patterson's secluded house. Jake disposed of incriminating evidence and instructed Jamie to hide under the bed, where she remained out of fear for her life. Witnessing her parents' murder left Jamie traumatized and compliant with Jake's directives, fearing the consequences of defiance. Given the gravity of her ordeal, Jamie's compliance with Jake's commands reflects the harrowing circumstances she faced. For extended periods, Jamie endured hours under the bed, spanning 8, 10, or even 12 hours without access to food, water, or bathroom breaks. Initially, Jake Patterson maintained a high level of vigilance, even warning Jamie about a shotgun placed outside her door in case of police intervention. However, as time passed without any law enforcement action, Jake grew increasingly confident in his ability to evade capture. He relaxed his guard, allowing friends to visit while instructing Jamie to remain hidden in her room. Over 87 days, Jamie suffered neglect and isolation, deprived of the opportunity to process the loss of her parents. Despite occasional outings, including a visit to a grandparent's house, Jake reinforced his threats of harm to deter Jamie from attempting an escape. Throughout the ordeal, Jake exhibited a disturbing level of confidence in his impunity, demonstrating a lack of remorse or accountability for his actions. Jamie, enduring captivity under the bed, seized the chance when Jake left for a job interview. With determination, she moved aside the barricade and fled the house, wearing Jake's oversized shoes on the wrong feet. Despite her disorientation, Jamie bravely escaped, driven by her yearning for freedom from her captor's grasp. One afternoon around 4 p.m., a woman named Jeannie Nutter was walking her dog when she noticed a teenage girl walking towards her without appropriate winter clothing, despite the bitter cold of Wisconsin. Sensing that something was amiss, Jeannie realized that the girl, who introduced herself as Jamie, needed help. Recognizing Jamie from the missing posters in the area, Jeannie embraced her and assured her that she would take care of her. With compassion, Jeannie escorted Jamie to a nearby neighbor's house for assistance. Jeannie recognized Jamie and called the police. With armed homeowners guarding the door, Jamie was shielded until help arrived. Jake's return led to his arrest. Jamie was rescued, but emotional scars persisted. Upon being pulled over, Jake Patterson did not resist. Instead, he confessed to his crimes, admitting his responsibility for the abduction of Jamie Close and the murder of her parents. Subsequently, Patterson received a life sentence without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would spend the remainder of his life behind bars. However, the motives behind Patterson's heinous actions remain largely incomprehensible to this day, leaving many puzzled by the tragic events that transpired.